Vocabulary 42 word of nouns. What is it they called? It is they called. Light bulb. What is it they called? It is they called. Lantern. What is it they called? It is they called. String lights. What is it they called? It is they called. Ceiling lights. What is it they called? It is they called. Chandelier. What is it they called? It is they called. Floor lamp. What is it they called? It is they called. Table lamp. What is it they called? It is they called. Flashlight. What is it they called? It is they called. Street light. What is it they called? It is they called. Siren light. What is it they called? It is they called. Searchlight. What is it they called? It is they called. Roof. What is it they called? It is they called. Ceiling. What is it they called? It is they called. Gutter. What is it they called? It is they called. Vent. What is it they called? It is they called. Baseboard. What is it they called? It is they called. Door frame. What is it they called? It is they called. Windowsill. What is it they called? It is they called. Handrail. What is it they called? It is they called. Baluster. What is it they called? It is they called. Balustrade. What is it they called? It is they called. Coffee sleeve. What is it they called? It is they called. Coffee lid. What is it they called? It is they called. Straw. What is it they called? It is they called. Stir. What is it they called? It is they called. Drink carrier. What is it they called? It is they called. Sugar packet. What is it they called? It is they called. Creamer. What is it they called? It is they called. To-go cup. What is it they called? It is they called. Coaster. What is it they called? It is they called. Saucer. What is it they called? It is they called. Tissue. What is it they called? It is they called. Toilet paper. What is it they called? It is they called. Paper towel. What is it they called? It is they called napkins. What is it they called? It is they called. Cotton pads. What is it they called? It is they called. Cotton ball. What is it they called? It is they called. Q-tips. What is it they called? It is they called. Handkerchief. What is it they called? It is they called. Baby wipes. What is it they called? It is they called. Blotting paper. What is it they called? It is they called. Lens wipes.